A few weeks ago there I made a video about property investment, and it was about a no-brainer property investment that I made way back in 1986 when I was starting out in business. And it was a situation where, as I called it, it was an investment where if things went well, me and my brother would have doubled our money, and if things went badly, we would have got our money back. So by any stretch of the imagination, an investment where you can roll the dice and get your money back if you lose and double your money if you win is a good investment. But there was another incident or another investment that I made a number of years after, and it gave evidence or support to the idea that what you need to be a good property investor or property developer, you need two things: one, capital, and two, imagination. And let me explain that. This particular investment, well, before I go on about this particular investment, the second one, the first one, I'll link it up here. Up here on the right hand side, I'm going to link it, and you can have a look at it if that sort of thing is of interest to you. But the second investment was one where I bought a pub, a big property, big enough property, residential on the first and second floor and commercial on the ground floor, a pub on the ground floor and residential overhead. Now, the gentleman who had been running the pub for years, it was a very successful pub. It was in a provincial town. It was coming to the end of its days, or at least it had seen better days, and the man himself, I don't think he had got married, or he had got married and he'd moved, or his family had moved away. He was getting on in years and was ready to retire, so he was in a provincial town. I bought the pub and I did it up with a view to running it first to see what it was like. But the difficulty with any retail business, especially one in a provincial town and especially a pub, is that people want to see and hear and talk to the owner. But I couldn't do that. I couldn't be there because I had other interests to look after. So I had a fella in running it. So I did up the place, spent the right few bob on it, and did it up. And I had a manager in. Now, to put it mildly, the manager that I had in didn't work out. I won't put it any further than that, but it didn't work out, okay? And I spent the right few bob on it. But what I did in the heel of the hunt, I took the license out of it and I sold it to either Lidl or Aldi, who were opening supermarkets around the country to beat the band and needed to put an off license into a place, into an Aldi or Lidl in Waterford. So I took out the license and I sold it to Lidl or Aldi, and then I sold the building, the commercial, to a pharmacist, to a local pharmacist. So again, even though it was an investment that on the face of it wasn't going to pan out the way that you might anticipate a pub panning out, having invested in it and dickied it up and got somebody in to run it and so on, the bottom line is, with a little bit of imagination, with a plan B, I could A, strip out the license, and B, sell the building for a completely different use, for pharmacy. So again, it's an example or an illustration, I think, of property development, property investment is an area of activity that does require a little bit of imagination, a little bit of lateral thinking, and a little bit of street smarts, I suppose. Now, you can do your thinking before you go into the investment, or you can do it when you're in the investment and you spent the money. But you're far better off doing your thinking before you go in, and do it coolly and rationally, and see what can plan A deliver, what can plan B deliver, and what can plan C, if you have to fall back on it, deliver. Anyway, I linked the other video up here on the right hand side as you look, about the no-brainer investment. It's a very popular video. I'll link it there, have a look at it. But again, I think it's an illustration of property development, property investment being about two things: capital and imagination. Hope you like this video. If you do, I'd appreciate if you give it the thumbs up down below. Thank you.